Salutations, liberty and freedom loving humans around the world, mankind, whatever you want to call us. This is a Jennings J22. This is the nickel with the wood grips. Cosmetically, aesthetically speaking, looks pretty good. I have shot this. This is a gun I purchased from somebody I know. I had one many years ago. I think the reason that I really didn't like it was that sight picture. You can see that there. It is very crude. You can get a sight, but these are not adjustable. There's no way you can adjust them. But they work. The guns, the one I had before and this one so far, haven't had any significant problems. There is something you can do if you're having feeding issues with them. I'll show that too. But the takedown on these is actually quite simple. Let's get in our super premium gunsmithing tool. These are for sale anywhere gunsmithing tools like this are for sale. It is based on that right there. These must be fired, which, as you can see, this one already is. You have to dry fire it, kind of like a Glock. And then that sends the striker forward, and then you put this in the back here, push it in, then you kind of slide it back and up, and then that, if you're not careful, like you just seen, it could shoot across the way on you. Then it just comes off the front and it's broken apart. And then this comes out, and as you can see, there's your striker. Everything comes out of the back. Spring, striker, all that good stuff. But you can see, people say that these aren't really good to dry fire. It's not good to dry fire rim fires. This doesn't fit me as what I would call a typical rim fire. I mean, right here on the breech face, you can see that's where the striker protrudes from, and then it hits the rim of the cartridge. So it's at the top. So let's look. I'm not really seeing any real damage here. This gun, I shot it a few times and it's dirty, but but that's basic cleaning. Here's a spring on the front. If you want to take that off, you can put it in put it in water, oil, soap, whatever you do. Put it in your sonic cleaner if you want. Clean it up, dry it out, put it back together, and then that just slides in. This just slides back in here, and then pushes forward. And then this just slides on there. And, well, wait a minute, did I do it backwards? I think I might have did it backwards. Yep, don't quote me on that. Yep, there it is. Yep, that's it. It goes in like that. Unless the last guy put it in backwards. I don't know. Being a used gun, you can't really tell. It looks like it might function either way, to be honest with you. Yeah, that would have been how it came out. I didn't see the orientation as it dropped out. Oh, but I mean, I see protrusion there, so that would definitely, I believe, hit the case there. Let's get the back half of that super extreme, see if we can get it in there. I mean, it looks like it's protruding, so I don't know. Nope. All right, here's another fine gunsmithing tool from Harbor Freight. Yeah, there's protrusion. But you can see the fouling in here on this, so I'm guessing that it went in this way. These are premium Harbor Freight tool. Yeah, there seems to be a little more protrusion that way, so the striker goes in that way. And that won't put the spring under so much tension because the spring can go further forward. But like I said, and then these they can be they're a bit tricky to put back on. Nothing real major. Oop, there goes the safety. Gotta put that back on. Might need that. I don't know. And this safety, as in the last video with the high point, this safety seems a little bit more, how do you say, reliable? Reliable to a point that I would actually trust it, because the way this one operates, when you pull it, you know, same as the last one, you can see it pulls down, and it pulls down just like the high point. However, this is the bar, so when it's forward, it allows the striker to drop. When it's in safety, I mean, it's pushing that out now. Well, crap. So let's push that back forward. Get this sucker back together. Having the same thing I had with the high point. The more I got into it and played with it, the further it seemed to just kind of fall apart on you. All right, there we go. Got that back together. I don't want to break this one down like the high point. I mean, this is just a 22. You can carry it for defense. Personally, I wouldn't, but then you can see the audible clicker that slides it from safe to fire. That's the detent that'll lock it in fire and then allow this to, go down there. She's functioning again. This is your ejector rod, which, that's pretty. That's a little loose. Oh well, we'll get it back together and take it out and shoot it. But I have shot it, so I do know it works. But this is, I believe, maybe an earlier one. I know Jennings was bought by Brico. The first gun I ever owned was a Brico 9mm. I went to the gun range with my dad, and well, at the time I was just getting into it, and he had his, Ruger GP 100, and found out real quick that the difference between shooting a quality gun and a cheap gun. The recoil inputs from that 9mm Brico just beat my webbing up so bad. And then you shot his gun. It was, I used a term in the high point video, Yugo versus a Cadillac. And I found out real fast. Yes, that is very much how this works. But this gun right here, 22, not a lot of recoil. You're not going to get very good aim out of that sight picture anyway. But for a plinker, something to, maybe get your flinch reactions down or get you more acclimated to shooting guns, this is a fine gun, and you can pick them up for about $100. Some places, you might even get them sub 100, or but I paid a little more than 100 just because it's the nickel one. The blued ones, you can probably pick them up sub 100, but these are just cheap guns that are, you could use them as a training aid. The thing about these is you got to get that right there. Got to get it just right so that the barrel will go through. And once the barrel goes through, there, see, now it's on. Now you push that in. You got to get your little tool here. Push that in so it goes down and bites inside of the slide. And there she is. She is reassembled. Okay, and it's on safe. That's fire. Safe, fire. You can feel that's that little detent in there, audibly clicking. Okay, now, so people say not to fire rim fires, but this gun seems okay. I'm not really going to worry about that too much. But we got it together. It is a 6-shot magazine. You can put one up and 6 in the mag. Again, like I said, I explained how these work. Strikers are that spring. The striker is caught in there, and you can see the back of it sticking out right here. And that spring is loaded. There is energy pushing against that striker. And when you pull the, see, it's okay, so when you pull the trigger, that energy is released, and it lets that striker go forward, and it smacks the case, either the primer or the rim, depending on rimfire, centerfire. And this gun, like I said, I don't see a real issue with it. It seems to be decently made. So when you slide this safety backwards, then that prevents that drop bar from moving down out of the way and letting that striker go. That's what that prevents. On the high point, you know, you've seen what it did, but on this one, I trust it a little more. But so there's nothing wrong with not keeping anything in the barrel, you know, having say 6 rounds in the bottom, and if you needed it, you know, get it out. I mean, is that, you know, because if you carried it cocked and locked, you're going to be on safe anyway. So you're on safe, you pull it out, get it off safe, fire. I mean, to me, it seems like kind of stupid that, you know, why couldn't you just pull your gun out and then you're ready? As long as the bullet, you know, and if it didn't chamber, a quick bump on the back and away she goes. But we'll take it out, we'll shoot it here a little bit, and you know, and I guess that'll conclude this video. They're real simple, cheap guns, but like I said, I owned one a long time ago. When this one came available here recently by somebody I work with, I took a look at it, and he told me what he wanted for it, and I went and got the money, because they are, if you're someone with small hands, these are good. You know, it's a good thing to train with and practice shooting. Not so much that you're going to drill the center of a bullseye out with anything like this, but you know, you might be able to hit some cans. We'll try that next. Stay tuned. There's my can. Got a new can of, you know, knockoff Sprite from Walmart. We will load up 6 rounds real quick in the magazine, put it in this little Jennings J22, and we will fire it at that can there and see if we can't hit it in 6 shots. Sometimes it's easy enough to just walk the bullet in and find out where it's going, but the sight picture on this thing is really crude. Again, little J22, you're not going to really do anything along the lines of speed reloads with any of these kinds of guns. They're really just vest pocket. So let's see what we can get with it. Alright. Yeah, she fired. Oh, I hit something. Oh, getting close. Got it. Oh, yeah. Kind of fun. There's nothing special, but that was 6. This one right here, being just a fun little gun. You know, cheap shoot, 22s, you know, blink all day. You know, we'll fire another 6 out of this one. Then I'll go clean it up, but I'll go ahead and give you my final thoughts. Some guns like these, even though they're cheap, I wouldn't hesitate to buy one, especially if you're buying them from somebody you know, and you know it works. If you're going to buy it from a pawn shop, I would recommend that you write on the receipt or make sure the pawn shop owner is aware that, you know, the gun's not working. He's going to take it back and refund you your money. Because at a pawn shop, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, it's, you know, the gun might be there for a reason, and somebody might have taken the gun to him because it didn't work, and sure, he's selling it to you for 100, 120 bucks, or, you know, if he's a real rip-off pawn shop, something like this, he might be trying to get 150 bucks out of you. But I can almost guarantee you he didn't give the sucker who brought it in $25, $50, if that. some pawn shops might give somebody, you know, $20 for something like this, and then try to sell it to you for 150. So you gotta be careful. He might have bought it and it was already broken, and he didn't test it. Most pawn shops, you know, they're just all about trying to make 5 to 10 times whatever they got into something as quick as they can, but they could care less about customer service. They're a pawn shop. So just keep that in mind when you buy from them. You know, so there she is, just a little old J22. They're actually quite great guns for what they are, especially when they work.